definitely not an S2000. Alright, so slight change of plan. We decided against going with the Skunk 2 manifold. The Ultra manifold has a different bolt pattern. He's ordered this throttle body. It's a K20 throttle body. This designed for the RBC, so it bolts directly to that flange. Well, he has a Carceps flange that takes the K20A throttle body and modifies it to the RBC, and doesn't fit the flange, the Skunk 2 flange, and it doesn't fit the Carceps flange. So we'll be 2 to 3 hours drilling and tapping and changing this and changing that. So we're going to lose this hose here, because not only does it look silly, it rubs the hood. So just taking a look here, this is the throttle body. Just put it on the RBC. We'll open that and see what kind of... see the lip that we have here? This is for the L side. Right. So we removed the vacuum fitting from here, which was talking about. Also, while we're at it, this little hose for the injection, that we're not using that. It had a vacuum cap. We took that off. What I did is I drilled a press fit hole here and Loctite the factory booster fitting in there, so it's hidden. It gives it a much cleaner surface, and we now have a factory booster hose, so we can use a spring clamp and not worry about it blowing off. So let me tell you what I got going on here. The bump support obviously comes down to here. I cut the bottom section of that out. I'm leaving these parts because that's where they mount, and also it gives us the mounting point for the bumper. The intercooler itself is going to be going across here, so it's kind of a crash support itself, and it's actually pretty beefy. The intercooler I've got is 12 inches tall, and the way I want to do this is, rather than put two pipes out of one side, typically what you see these intercoolers, they'll have a pipe here and a pipe here. Well, you're only getting that much airflow. Of course, it goes across the intercooler, makes a turn and comes back, but this is the airflow that I'm worried about. It's a 3-inch core, but it's only going to be about 5-6 inches tall core. Even though it goes through twice, you're limiting the flow. So what I'm going to do is keep it the way it is, so it goes from one side to another. You might have seen this on our K-site build, but basically we make here, we come up with a 90, come across here, and the tube goes that way. That way we have two tubes at this side, and it gives me much larger core for my airflow. So I'm going to cut that intercooler down and start building the tubes for it to attach here. You can get a sports massage, facials, haircut, style. So this is where the turbo is going to sit. As you see, it's straight. It's not pointing up on a 45-degree angle like I talked about. And we still have a decent amount of room for the downpipe and the dump tube. So we're going to be making a manifold, and the design we're going to go with is like the one that we built for our K-site. I'll go ahead and post a quick pic. It's a sidewinder style. Basically all the four runners come out, make a bend, and go into here. Doing the same thing with our collector here. We've got our 4-into-1 merge collector. It's getting welded right now. I'm back purged. So I'm now working on a catch can. It's going to sit basically where the battery was, but battery is going to be relocated behind the bumper, more than likely in this spot right here. So I just kind of designed a little shape that I wanted to do. Filters are going to sit on this edge here, pointing forward, just so it gives it a little bit of a shape. The air is most likely going to go in here. There'll be a louver, so the air has to work its way up here, so the oil will catch, drop out of suspension. The air will go right through there. So that's basically my idea. And then we have another valve cover that we are going to weld AN fittings on, so that that will be the vent, and of course right there for the crankcase breather. Put a -10 on there too. Alright, so this is where my battery box is sitting. As you see, could have made something a little different. I didn't want to make just a perfectly square box with filters sitting on the top. But these kind of go here.
Thank you.
I'm going to use that for an Academy Award filming. This is the other valve cover the customer supplied. He had it powder coated already, but we got to put some vents in there. Also, what I'm going to do is cut this vent off here that would usually go to the valve cover, to the intake. That will be the valve cover breather. I want to take that off and weld that and see if I can smooth it so you can't really tell it used to be there. Alright, catch can and valve cover are done. The fittings are welded on the valve cover like I talked about, and that hole there, filled that and blended it so it doesn't stick out. Actually, it's here. Did such a good job, I forgot which side it's on. So they are going to our friends at the powder coaters, and I should start charging them endorsements, but the guys at AB Powder Coaters are the ones that do our stuff. In fact, I'm going to text Austin right now and see if he can get these in the morning. So you can see here where the throttle body already has the flange on there. I just welded the other side of the flange on this pipe and weld it on the inside. I kind of like the way that looks. That way on here, if I can get it to focus, it's nice and clean. You don't see a weld. It kind of looks like it's machined on there. So we did that with the turbo, and wherever we can put these clamps and make them look like that, we're going to do the same thing. Looks like somebody left their blinker on. We tried to lay these pipes down so we have room for this pipe to actually come in this area here. We actually tried to plan this. The Vanjen clam is welded on the turbo like I talked about, welded on the inside, so you don't see a joint here. It looks kind of nice. Intake's going to be 4-inch. Going to kind of plan what bends we need and how we need to weld it here. Basically this is a 45. Going to need probably about a 75-degree bend to get it into this spot where I need it. This is a 90. It's a little bit too much of a bend. Let's figure out how it comes out of the plastic. Hopefully this is 4-inch. Dang it, that's not 4-inch, that's 3.5. That ain't gonna work, is it?
Way of shopping our extensive pre-owned inventory and let us get you financed. StingrayChevrolet.com, Tampa Bay's big store on I-4.
Okay, we're changing the fuel pump that came in on the Civic. Had a the standard pump we always use, the Marlboro GSS 255 liter per hour pump. Put in the 250 or the 450, I mean, sorry. Get a lot more fuel up there because we're planning to run a little more power than usual on this car. So we'll have plenty of fuel to do it.
These are for the LHT Museum. When was the last time you saw brand new APC taillights in the box? And they are for, what car is that? Honda Accord. Euro tail lens. Start your bidding now, folks. LHT sales at AOL.com. We're doing brush modifications right now. People are ragging on this brush because they said it's in rough shape. It was on that pole, and after sweeping right over here, the brush broke. George is now coming up with a system to fix the brush so we don't have to spend another $1 and buy a brush because it's just too much money. Yeah, the handle is actually quite nice. It's the brush head that is suffering. That's all right, George has it handled. Yeah. He'll fix it.
Thanks, George.
We'll have about 2 hours in fixing the brush to save $1.
Now John's shown you that we're putting a catch can where this big guy used to go. Now we're going to take that guy, turn it into that guy, put it behind the bumper. Customer supplied, even supplied this nice little battery box. So I've made this little box here to bolt it to. Primed it, painted it body color. It looks pretty good in there.
You're not talking about me over here, are you?
No, I'm not talking about you at all.
Mint. That was pretty tricky. I like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything going these things?
No.
Leave those open?
Yeah, just leave them open.
Should we cap them?
If we have vacuum caps.
Yeah. All right, it's coming together.
Water?
Water? Which one do I get?
You get G.
I get G? Alright, that sounds good.
What's up, G?
G for good water.
G, yo.
What's up, Jay?
That's me. Even though I'm starting off with polished pipe, see, this isn't the best looking finish. So the parts that you can see, which is this, go an extra, give it a little bit more shine, make it really show. I know the customer will really appreciate this. There's the man.
That's it.
More stuff for the blue hatch. These guys, by the way, AB powder coating. Battery's done, right? It's just 8 cables.
You just need to hook it up. Turn the car on.
We'll cross it out for you.
The negative battery cable just disconnected, so we don't have everything powered up right now.
Okay, this controller like that. This is the downpipe. The 3-inch part right here is coming out of the flange. This turbo has the wastegate is built into the housing. So this right here is basically the wastegate hole. It's a 2-inch hole. What I'm doing is I'm going to plumb this back into the downpipe. That way, when the wastegate opens, you're not getting the exhaust sound out in the engine bay area or under the car. It's going to be plumbed back in the exhaust, so it's going to be a little quieter. So what I've done right here is blended this pipe. So it's going to route back in. I'm going to drill the hole here, weld this on. That way when the wastegate opens, seamlessly into the downpipe, you don't get that sound. Good thing about this camera is it has no problem focusing at all. Look at that. That's great. There we go. That didn't take long. Alright, so what we got? 10 o'clock. The LHT guys are still messing around. Steve's got a whole bunch of wiring all over the place. George is trying to figure out how to make the world's longest drain line.
I think if I make it go all the way to the back and then back to the front, it'll cool the oil by the time I get to the front.
Alright. Alright. Back to my downpipe. Alright, 11 o'clock. That's it. We're out of here. Steve's out of here. The Civic's going to sit here tonight. George is about done.
Yeah.
And I'm about done with that, so that's it. We'll see you again tomorrow. Alright, so here we are, several hours later. It doesn't feel like that much later than when we left here. Feels like we literally just left. Valve cover's getting changed next. The customer wanted it doing in satin black, and we did our catch can to match, so that's what's going on right now. Valve cover's prepped. It's got the new gaskets ready to go, and it's going on next. Here's the catch can. I think I showed you this a little bit about building it, but it sits like that. Kind of changed the design from what most people do. Kind of like the way it looks. Kind of compact. And that is getting installed next. Give you a window. Does that look better? There's a turn down for you. I made that mark first to get an idea of where the bottom of the bumper was, right here. And then added 1/4 of an inch to it. That way our gas clears the plastic on the bumper. There it is. That's the muffler delete section. So this is what she looks like. We haven't cleaned it yet. We've got to go over and polish the pipe in. But that gives you an idea what we have going on over here. What do you think?
I like it.
I like it. I didn't think I'd like the black, but now it's all done. I kind of like it. The valve cover looks really nice. But the aluminum piping really really pops against the black. And catch can and the hoses look great. I think he's going to love that. So we've got all 3 ports going to the catch can there. See how good that looks. It looks good in there. Now we're on the dyno, we're doing some preliminary boost runs, see where we're at. We're going to go off the wastegate and see where our boost is, tune that, and then work the boost up, make changes little by little, creep up to our numbers that we need to get. So, let's go. So we're pretty much done on, right now, this is on the gate. We're tuning on pump gas and keeping it ultra conservative, like 11.8 to 11.4 through the, from like 7,000 RPMs up, keeping it safe. So, I mean, this turbo is rated at 550 total horsepower. Some sites say 560, ATP say 570. Anyway, we're at 528 and 25 pounds, and it backs down to like 21.5. So either the turbo is about out of steam, or we're floating the valves.